Madsen lets it fly and dishes out a three-pointer.
This third quarter is going to be very key for Vanguard to get back on the horse. They did it against Dominican the other night, and third quarters are really some of Vanguard's best quarters where the shooting, all of a sudden, that turns up as it's another turnover for the Oaks 2 nights ago from downtown. We can maybe see Vanguard reclaim that momentum that they lost very quickly over the last 4 minutes of the second quarter.
And the ball will go back to Menlo.
But I'm fine with that because you go back to what was working for you so far, which is the pick and roll game.
It's a set position, and Cooper's going to give it away. Madsen running into Scott for a moment.
Well, at least she learned her lesson by picking up the dribble, because how many times have we seen Menlo poke from behind?
And Rosette stops the bleeding.
Rosette is just such a steady player. Her demeanor never changes, and she's just like, you know what? We need a bucket right here. Just give me the ball. I'm going to go catch and shoot. And I have a feeling that even if Madsen closed out on her strongly right there, she would have been fine with getting off it to the next side, because she's just such a steady player and never gets rattled.
73%. She's shooting 70% here on the contest, but Matosian has something to say about it.
It's time for Spataro to make an adjustment right here. Might have to go back to your zone defense to change the pace of Vanguard, because they're just teeing them up right now.
Madsen on the release. Oh, my goodness.
The switches right now for Menlo are just nowhere as crisp as they were earlier.
Unraveling a bit here.
Just a little bit, and, you know, it was a great read by Madsen, and I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in that locker room to hear what Coach Davis said, because when he came out of here at the half, the look on his face, if looks could kill. Oh, my goodness. I would have loved to hear what he said, but apparently it worked, because Vanguard's off to an 18-3 run. The adjustment that Vanguard has made is pretty clear to me on the defensive side of the floor, though. They're bringing Scoff all the way up to near the three-point line out of their hybrid 2-2-1 defense in the half court right here, and making almost a 3-2. And if Menlo's trying to throw it over the top, she's getting a piece of everything and discouraging those passing lanes.
Uh-oh. She's up to 19 points now. Oh, Madsen. Jathravion came to play.
How do you lose her in transition? I mean, we've seen that way too many times from opponents. If you're going to have a chance to beat Vanguard, you can't give them a free look. Vanguard has three of the top 4 shooters in this conference from downtown. And speaking of shooters,
Frisch hits.
They got lucky. You hear the Menlo bench say, go before they get set, and it works out for Frisch. Okay, so now you've taken your last 2 threes, which I'm fine with. Heat check. You know, Vanguard's flowing offensively from downtown. Now you've missed your last couple. Let's get back downhill.
And Hudson will come on.
So now I'll be interested to see if Vanguard changes anything, because, yeah, you had Scoff at that tip to make it almost a 3-2 zone because of her length. Scooby, yeah, she has long arms, but not anywhere as long as Emma Scoff.
Rosette's going to walk. And you saw Coach Vistar look to her assistant crew and just give the nod. That was a walk. She was ready to have some words with the official.
His Menlo's assistant coaching staff might be the most swaggiest. We saw them hitting the Superman, the little soldier boy coming out of halftime.
They're a fun bunch to have alongside us. Oh, this at the scores table. Ariana Hudson, you talked about it off air that she's the young player stepping up on the scene tonight, kind of curse. She jumps up now to 13 points. Heave too strong. And no, not going to be on Kubi. But it's on Matosian.
Smart play.
And it's... Yeah, I thought it was going to be on Kubi.
I thought it was on C. That's 4 now on Matosian. Wow.
I'm very surprised they're not even looking at it.
And they get the illegal screen call as a makeup. But they can look at that. We saw that a couple weeks ago where an official wasn't sure exactly who the foul was on. And I believe that was the APU game where it was Heimberger. They overturned the foul call that they called on Heimberger, the Pac West Player of the Year from a season ago. And they changed it to help APU out. I'm surprised they didn't do it here, because they certainly can. Because CE was saying that I pushed her, not anyone else.
I immediately looked at Kubi's foul count there, because I was sure that was either on her or Hallie C, but it's Matosian call for it, as you see CE.
That makes this final 91 seconds even more important, because if Vanguard can hold this at a double-digit lead, that's going to buy you time to start the fourth without Matosian.
And it's hammer time. She drills it.
And we talk about Rosette. Her demeanor never changes. Hudson is exact same. Just a freshman, but ever so calm and collected.
He called for the foul. And that'll be her second.
Yeah, Carter definitely said something to CE after that play. We talked about it earlier. There was some words being exchanged between CE and some of the other
CE walked
guards.
up on the last possession on the timeline. They were chirping at each other.
And if I read Carter's lips correctly on that one, when she stared at C, it was a word that you can't really say to an opposing player.
One of the magic words, which I'm so surprised though they just didn't take another look at it. It must have they must have all concurred, because usually in a situation like that you would.
Well, the Heimberger play a few weeks ago, they all concurred there, but then the APU bench was screaming their heads off, saying that was not on her.
That was Hardiman pedigree, which,
yes.
Hey, we should take a look at this.
Hardiman's been around the block a few times. Yeah, Coach Davis has as well, but new conference, I guess he's not getting the favor.
Blue, common foul on white 22. Blue 33 is going to shoot 2 shots, followed by technical foul on blue 33. Anyone from white is going to shoot 2 shots, and it's their ball sideline.
Matosi might have not been involved in the play, but no. Are checking for a flagrant here.
I don't think there was anything hostile there. I mean, she made a hard swipe at the ball. They'll probably keep this as a common foul on the floor, move on, play ball. But
well, let's talk about it, because I don't know if you're going to come back for the fourth quarter. Postseason in a few days starts on March 6th through the 8th. You got Point Loma and APU securing their spots in terms of the bye. I want to hear your synopsis on how you think things are going to play out. Who has the best chance to, if you had to take your bets, to finish out in San Rafael? As I mentioned to you off air, we still got to see if Dominican are going to be 3rd or 4th seed. But who do you got, and what are you thinking?
Heimberger and company over at APU are going to make things tough. But Point Loma, the way that they're playing basketball, especially being on an 8-game win streak right now, is impressive. So I think the favorites have to be Point Loma. APU's experienced. They have a winning culture, so it's hard for me to bet against APU.
Right.
It really is.
Having a player like Heimberger who can get you a bucket anytime, I think they're so dependent on their shooting at the moment that it makes them hard to call.
But Point Loma, their assist number indicates to me that their ball movement is so healthy they can overcome shooting by individuals of APU rather than the team environment that Point Loma has. Although APU, we saw with Heimberger on that foul situation, their players and said, no, put that on me. That to me is a winning culture. So it's hard for me to bet against that. Westmont, being in their first Pac West tournament, they're gonna be a hard out.
I feel like they're almost Point Loma in a few years. They're a younger version of Point Loma at the moment. Maybe don't have the firepower.
Dominican, though.
Yeah, that home court advantage, that's the part that I'm so curious about.
Do not sleep on Dominican, especially Taylor Lindsay. I don't expect her to be in foul trouble again at home. If she is, it's a wrap. But if she's playing, watch out to all the other teams in the tournament, because they may make a run to the championship, especially, as you mentioned, on their home floor.
The home court advantage will be huge. As we're hearing the final synopsis here.
How long has it been since we actually played basketball, Jared? I think the active count is 7 minutes.
So no flagrant.
No flagrant, and I think that's the right call. And it's been a bit of a rivalry, I would say.
I mean, you had Westmont taking the reins in terms of the GSAC overall, but these two teams were right behind them. And especially come postseason time in the GSAC tournament, anything was happening.
Especially when Vanguard had to go play at Menlo. I mean, there were some interesting circumstances up there that the women's players told me about, including some power outages that happened during their shoot-around time for the Pac West tournament, which didn't happen to anyone else. So
GSAC conspiracy, maybe.
It's not a conspiracy. I'm just reporting what I was informed of, as Hudson goes 1 for 2 there. But these are two sides that have gone 4-4 in their last 8 against each other. So they're evenly matched. We talked about it. It's like looking at your evil twin in the mirror. They do everything, not everything, but a lot of things very identically. Is right now they're trying to battle to see who can take care of the ball the worst. And this is the same player in Matson who went 5 for 11 from downtown in their first matchup of the season. So the fact that Menlo's having some trouble, I mean, as well-coached a team as they are, I'm a little shocked that they're having trouble identifying her as a shooter.
Beat down to 2. Matson from the corner, finishing touches. Why not? Vanguard score 32. Oh, my goodness.
Shot the lights out, too. But, Jared, we've seen in this series before that this game is not over. A 20-point lead does not mean a thing. We'll see how it works out, but you'll have to do it without me, Jared.
Hopefully you'll rejoin me, okay? Let's keep our fingers crossed here. But a 20-point game heading into the fourth quarter. We'll take a break and come back with the conclusion here on Senior Day. Back, J.J. Johnson. I'll give you a quick synopsis. Vanguard have scored 1 field goal in this quarter.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. The initial reaction was CE going, well, okay.
He's like, I'll take it. We can go home. But, man, I mean, the fact that the Oaks were able to cut it to single digits, I mean, testament to Coach Vitar and the belief that she's instilled in her group. And didn't work out for them today, but Vanguard is going to finish second in the Pac West, Jared. Incredible.
Absolutely incredible. What a senior night. JJ, I wish, I'm so selfish, I wish you would just like come off the sideline and call some of this game with me, because this is going to be a good game.
Senior day, everybody pull up, gang.